How's it going out
Uh,
there in the desert?
it's going great. Yeah, it's going great. You said out. You said out in the desert.
Well, look at the background they've given you
Oh
there.
yeah, they flew me in the Shiprock just for this interview. It was great.
First off, congratulations on a terrific movie.
Ah, thank you, thank you.
I really enjoyed it. And I have to ask, how much basketball background did you bring to the game?
I brought a well, I would say for myself personally, I brought a tremendous amount of basketball experience to this. It wasn't good experience, but I did, but I did bring a lot. I played basketball, in middle school and high school. Played Rez Ball myself, and so and also in addition to that, I'm just a huge basketball fan. And I think having seen a lot of sports movies and basketball movies, it was important for us that I think for myself when I see a lot of sports in movies, you can tell so often when it's not done right, or when it's like a close up on the actor's face, and then they cut to the behind and it's obviously a double. We really wanted to stress authenticity, and we really wanted our kids to be able to play, and they had to be able to ball.
How difficult was it to find kids who could ball and could act?
Well, it was interesting. When we initially talked to Netflix about the project, I pitched them on this idea of like, well, in the Native community, because basketball is so huge, like in that Venn diagram of Native Americans that play basketball and Native American actors, there's a lot of overlap, right? And then Netflix, obviously they financed the film, and then they greenlit us, and then it was sort of like, oh wow, okay, crap, now we got to go find these guys, and so there's a little bit of uncertainty. I knew the people were out there, and but there's still that level of uncertainty, and so we we put out a casting call, and that was really kind of the first big question mark that we had: is are we going to get a response to this? And the short answer was yes. We got 5,000 submissions. If we're talking just about the players, we got 5,000 submissions for 10 roles. And but it was a little more rigorous and intense because not only did our kids have to put themselves on tape, doing auditioning for the acting roles, but they also had to do three basketball things. They had to shoot a layup, shoot a three-pointer, and shoot a free throw, and put themselves on camera doing that. And so those two things really allowed us to kind of see like who has the combination of the ability to act, but also the ability to play, and we're able to sort of whittle our list down and down and down and down, until we eventually landed on our top 10 people. And so it was, I will say I was absolutely blown away by the response that we got and by the amount of submissions that we had, and the questions that we had of, is that talent out there that can do these things? The answer was like, oh, absolutely. There was more than we could, more than we could sort of go with, actually.
Now, was it obvious on some of the tapes that the wannabes were kind of cheating? I mean, as you described it, turn the camera around, and that looks like somebody else actually doing the three-pointer there. Uh,
Yeah, no, there was definitely some fancy editing and some like like music video tracks and like fancy cuts and all that stuff. But we were able to kind of see through a lot of that. But I'd say the vast majority were people, they were really trying, and I do have to say, I think my theory was actually proven right in the Venn diagram of native actors that play basketball and native actors that can native actors. There is a tremendous amount of overlap.
Now, Mr. Bratt, I mean, I've already said it, I've already gone on the record saying it. I mean, this is a star-making performance, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Uh, how surprised were you that you were able to find somebody who checked all the boxes so well?
Kauchani he's a special, unique, lightning in a bottle sort of talent. Yes, and we're very lucky and very fortunate that we were able to find him for this project, and he carries. It was such a massive responsibility for a first-time actor to have to be number one and carry a feature film like that. He rose to the challenge, and in more ways than one, on the court, off the court, whatever basketball analogy you want to use. But he really, despite not having the professional experience, he just had this natural, innate ability to sort of be comfortable in front of the camera lens. And so really it was I would consider my job was just to be his cheerleader and be on the side of my pom-poms and kind of cheer him along and give him permission to go to these places and spaces emotionally. But I think in terms of bringing a non-actor or a first-time actor, you could say it's lightning in a bottle, but I think I've seen enough occurrences over the past couple of years to realize, like, well, maybe this isn't lightning in a bottle. Maybe these people haven't not had the opportunity. I saw this on Reservation Dogs. Lane and Paulina and DeFaro were all first-time actors. And now you've got DeFaro being nominated for an Emmy. You've got saw on Echo with a deaf Native American actress in Alaco Cox, and then going out and saying, like, can we find a deaf Native actor? And the answer is yes. So I went into it with a very strong sense of confidence that these people were out there. And so I think the more that I've had a chance to do these like sort of outlier roles, the more I realize it's just that people haven't had the opportunity, and the talent is absolutely out there.
Did you find once production began that Jessica Matten was playing coach on camera and off camera with your younger actors?
Yeah, no, funny story. Jessica's so convincing. I remember we were shooting a game, and she looks the part and she acts the part so convincingly. I remember very specifically, we were shooting a game and we're doing her coverage, and we started rolling, and I'd forgot to sort of talk to her before the take got set up, and then as we were rolling, I said, okay, just call us some basketball plays. She sort of stood there behind the camera, and was sort of standing there trying to be cool, and I was like, no, call us some basketball plays, and then she said, I don't know how to play basketball. And I was like, oh yeah, right. Jessica isn't actually a coach, and she's an actor. And we're like, I'm so sorry, cut. And then so we gave her some lines and everything. But that's just how convincing she was. Like I see her on the screen, and I just instantly think, coach, So yeah, I definitely had to be reminded that she needed a little bit of help.
Did she lend a hand in maybe helping them get over any skittishness they might have had about the actual acting?
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, I think as director, I could only do so much on my side, but I think where like Jessica and Julia and a lot of our more experienced actors, they were really, it was a very sort of close-knit kind of family, and they really kind of came in, with that kind of like matriarch kind of energy, and really helped to, kind of help the kids along from the acting side of things, whether it was something as simple as how to read a call sheet, or, here's my method for memorizing the lines in a scene. I come to the rehearsal prepared. I try to come off book. Well, what's off book? Like those are the conversations, and I think both her and Julia were so generous behind the scenes with all of our young talent, and they really helped to kind of give them the wisdom and knowledge that they have. Finally,
what do you hope audiences take away from this film?
Well, my hope is that audiences are able to see themselves in this story, in these characters, right? You don't have to be native to enjoy this film. You don't have to be from Shiprock to identify with these people. I think that's one of the beauties of a sports movie. It's a universal story, and with human characters, and I really hope people are able to see themselves in a side of America they may not have been exposed to or have experienced prior to this.
Well, thank you very much. Again, I really enjoyed the movie. And once again, thank you for Echo, because I was really glad to see in the final episode Cantu Cardinal kicking some ass.
Ah, Grandma, yeah. Grandma, get to kick some ass. Awesome.
So thanks a lot, and good luck with the film.
Thank you, Joe.